Michael, what is happening here? I am so terrified, man. Assassin's Creed Invictus is reportedly similar to Fall Guys. What? No, no way. We're gonna be just little assassin jelly beans running around. We'll see what happens here. Carly Garcia over at GameRanks. For years, fans of the Assassin's Creed franchise have been fascinated and perplexed by Assassin's Creed Invictus. Earlier this year, it was rumored that the multiplayer title would be released sometime in 2025, and while the concept sounds interesting, the execution has some prospective players concerned. I'm raising my hand. Actually, I'm raising both. I'm going up. According to an insider, the game will follow a Fall Guys format. Reliable Assassin's Creed insider X Jonathan recently shared some information about Invictus on X, noting that the game will have matches consisting of multiple rounds. These will consist of familiar concepts like free-for-all, team deathmatch, and others. Players will reportedly also be able to choose their powers and create different builds after qualifying for another round. Unsurprisingly, Ezio and a multitude of characters will be playable when the title actually comes out. We'll see. Dude, Ezio OG. Like, he's one of the best, right? You gotta have him. While it sounds like a potentially fun time, there's a disconnect in players' brains when comparing the gritty Assassin's Creed series to the more colorful and childlike look of Fall Guys. Invictus is said to be, quote, very arcade, end quote. That sucks. In his gameplay style, and the game's maps will reinforce well-known locales in the series, including an island from Black Flag, Baghdad from Mirage, and others. Quote, that honestly couldn't sound any worse, so it must be true, end quote. One user wrote. For now, players are eager for more concrete details from Ubisoft and other franchises. Assassin's Creed Shadows will reportedly have a preview event at the end of September, meaning that more unedited and detailed footage of the Ubisoft titles are on the way. So that's cool to see that. But Michael, dude, I'm terrified. We're going to an arcade-like feel for the Assassin's Creed multiplayer. This is not what fans of the hardcore wanted way back when. If you played Brotherhood, dude, I rose with that multiplayer. Like, I was all in. I was studying how to be better at that game. It was that, dude, it had me hooked, right? Like, I was so in. You are a stealth character. That is the whole purpose of that game, is to be stealth. This arcade thing terrifies the crap right out of me.
Yeah, it started out interesting, right? Because originally when you talked about Fall Guys and you talked about how it was going to work, I took it more of like a Fall Guys style where it's like, all right, we're going to queue up. There'll be like 50 of us. We'll do a couple different objectives. Each time we'll eliminate some people. I was like, okay, that could fit, right? Maybe you're trying to sneak through. Maybe you're trying to find somebody. Like, that part of the Fall Guys style, I think, could be really interesting. And then, as you said, it got to the, it's going to be very arcadey. And that's the part that I'm with you. I don't think that's going to fit. So we'll have to see. I think the Fall Guys concept is cool, right? We heard Battlefield potentially talking about that, where you're going to have different squads. You do an objective, lowest squad gets eliminated. I think that style is something that I think a lot of games could learn from, and I think in Assassin's Creed that featured one of those as a mode, right? That shouldn't be the only mode, right? But I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know how it would work with like a free-for-all and a team deathmatch, as the story mentioned, because that's like, those are 5-10 minute matches. So seems like there's a lot of misinformation, but I think the big concern here is it's going to be arcadey in the look, and that, I'm with you. I don't think that looks right. I'm holding out hope. As you said, sounds like we're going to get something before the end of 2024 that'll kind of give us like an either this is really, really good or this is really bad. But I'm curious, if we get something end of September, middle of October for Invictus, and it doesn't look good, if that will impact Shadows at all, right? If that'll have people saying, like, I don't want to hop on Assassin's Creed, like, I don't like the way this is going, I'm just going to pass on Shadows because I'm already disappointed in the next game. That, I think, can be really curious if Invictus falls short, if it's going to affect Shadows sales in November.
Dude, I'm terrified. I am absolutely terrified. I've been so hungry for an Assassin's Creed multiplayer to come back to make that return, right? Because there's nothing like that multiplayer ever. There's still, to this day, is nothing like that multiplayer. Dude, I remember getting, so you would stack your abilities and then sneak by somebody, poison them in a crowd, vanish like you never even showed up. Dude, screen just turns green and they die. I had no idea where you came from. Puts you to the top sometimes, right? And pulling that off felt so damn good. And now we're gonna go to this arcade style. They're gonna go to much more fast paced. By the end of Assassin's Creed multiplayer lifecycle, dude, everybody was running, which was the problem, right? How do you slow that down? Because it is supposed to be a stealth approach to this whole genre. And people are like, hey, we can run. And then you stop, and then you start to walk and weasel your way in, right? Here, I think it's gonna be complete chaos. And I'm so terrified. I'm hoping this is not the case, right? Very arcade puts me in a different light when you say arcade, because Assassin's Creed is not arcade, right? That's not an arcade game. It's not how you approach this. And if they do announce this and this is how it goes down, Ubisoft's already in a bad light, dude. This will ruin them.